Hello, I'm back. So yeah, I went off, had something to eat. I'm back now. I'm sleepy tired from all the food we had. I'm very grateful to my uncle and to thank God for that. Okay, so now that's out of the way, I can carry on and start to remove the battery on the MacBook. So let's flip it over. So what I tend to do is because I don't want to damage the screen from pushing down to, you'll see what I mean. Let me just make sure that's in view. Yeah, that's okay. Right, so I'm just gonna flip it over like this. And that way I can push as hard as I want on the battery while I'm trying to get it off and get the glue off, etc. So hang the screen off the side basically like that. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can zoom in a little and move this around. Again, I don't want to get my big fat head in the picture. There we go. Right, that's the bit you need to see really, the battery here. So I'm going to work on that premise. Right, let me just get out of the way. Just get my glasses, and again, disconnect the original battery. I'll take the shield off of here because I'm going to pull back the ribbon cable for the trackpad, so it's out of the way. There we go. Okay. And pop the cable off. Come on. Come on. Okay. So get that out of the way. Now, there's a couple of screws here as well. I think it's one or two that hold the battery down. Actually, I think it might be just the one here. The other one's for the actual, yeah, I think it's just this one. I think that screw is actually just for the board. But you know what, it doesn't hurt. I'm going to take that one out as well, just in case, and put it to the side. Yeah, so, okay, good. So now what I want to do is I want to get some alcohol in there, isopropyl alcohol, 99 point whatever, and use a pipette, and I just drench it really. I'm not worried. I just, I'll show you what I do once I've drenched it. Just get it in there, and this will help loosen the glue. It's actually double-sided tape they use, but you know, let's do that. Now what I'll do is I'll take my an object, this is usually quite good, this brush, and I'll just tuck it underneath the laptop so it sits at an angle, so the glue, the alcohol can roll down and start to penetrate into the battery. There we go. I know there's probably some of you out there thinking, whoa, that's a lot, you don't need that much. Well, I'd prefer to put more and then not enough. It's bad enough these batteries are hard work to get out, so let's just put that in there. And I'm just going to leave that for just a couple of minutes just to settle in. All right, in the meantime, oh dear. Yeah, so this is the replacement battery that I'm going to be putting in, like for like. Obviously not a genuine one because Apple won't sell me a genuine one, so, but they're good. I've had no problems with these. Okie dokie, so let's just take that brush out now from the back, and I'm going to start seeing if I can get an edge to lift up. So Sometimes I cut this plastic thing here. It's like a credit card thing. Let's see, once I can get an edge, yeah, you see, it starts coming up like that. And then ooh. Alright, so I'm just going to keep adding a bit of alcohol to the tip just to keep it a bit wet, yeah? Just help it. There you go. There you go. This is just like a credit. There you go. First bit up, yeah? And I've just got to keep going cell by cell. I know some people take the speaker out, but yeah, I can't be bothered. And I've never damaged a MacBook yet, changing one of these stuck down batteries on the Retina range, so it's all good. Yeah, see how well that alcohol works, especially if you angle it and you put enough of it on there, you don't have to struggle. Again, the battery, you should discharge it really as much as possible when you're working on it, just in case you do puncture it and it can catch fire. So keep going, we're getting there. Takes a bit of force, but we'll get there. There we go, a bit more alcohol. There we go. It's cutting through nicely actually. Very good. Happy with that. There we go. That's that cell up. Almost there. Okay, cut through there. Let's see how that's doing. Okay, so it's, I think here, cut into there a bit more. And there. You see, I can put pressure on this now because I've opened the screen, so the screen's hanging off the side of the workbench. So no problem with me pushing down and causing damage to the screen. Let's just keep going. It's just that little bit here, I think. There we go. I think we're kind of done. Let's see. Let's take this out. How are we doing? There you go. Voila, gone. And I'll put that aside and I can take that to the recycle. I've got like a box that I put the recycle stuff in. I hope that was on camera. Yeah. Okay, let me just get a cloth. Okay. So, yeah, I like to take off as much of the old tape as possible, if I'm being honest. Usually that bit takes longer than anything else to do, but now some of these batteries, the replacements you get, these compatible ones, as good as the batteries can be, sometimes the tape they give you is a bit rubbish. So I can use some of the high quality 3M tape I've got, or even the Tessa tape that I use. I have various double-sided tapes just to give it, you know, I don't want the battery wobbling around, but we'll see. Hopefully the tape that is on this replacement battery is good enough. Yuck. Sometimes you can grab the end as well, and if you're lucky and you pull slowly, you can peel it off in one go. Like that. There you go. Boy, this stuff is so sticky. There we go. Let's get that off. Ugh. Get off. Come on, there we go. What you will find is the tape is much harder to get off on the back cover of the trackpad. It's just the type of material it is, and I don't like to push too hard on the middle here because the plate's quite flimsy. So if I'm lucky, I can peel it all off without too much pressure. Do you know what? I really hate this tape. It just sticks to your fingers. Yeah. I'll keep going. I've also got some label remover. So if this does become a problem, which I don't think it will be actually, but what you can do is I dab some label remover on here, leave it for 3 minutes to dry, and then honestly it just peels off like there was no glue there to begin with. It's really good. But, let's just stick with this now. Almost there. And again, I'm not putting too much pressure on the downward stroke. It's more going across, just getting underneath, because I don't want to, like I said earlier, I don't want to buckle this cover or, you know, push too hard on the trackpad that's underneath. Sticky, sticky. Oh, I love it when it comes off in one go. Come on, baby. There we go. There you go. Cool. Getting there. So yeah, had a nice lunch with my Uncle Hercules. We went to the carvery in Mitcham. What's it called? Toby's. Pretty good. Good value. You just got to watch that your eyes aren't bigger than your stomach, because it's so easy at carvery, right? Last time I went, I just put way too much on the plate. There was no way I was going to eat that. I did much better this time. Oh, come on, baby. There we go. Yep. Cool. Yuck. Okay. Almost done. Ugh. Teeny bit left. It's actually quite therapeutic. Well, I find it quite therapeutic anyway. So let me dump those Kimtex, get a fresh one. And here, this is where I'm going to put a bit of the label remover, because it just gets rid of all that stickiness. So this is, I've been using this for years. There you go. AF Lubricream Paper Label Remover. It has like a little brush there. You don't need a lot. A little bit goes a long way. And obviously do not get this on the electronics. This is literally for the board. Anything that's non-electronic, right? You don't want this going on the electrics. So that's why I just put a very thin layer on, like that, where the sticky stuff is. And if you do get any on the board by mistake, just give it a good soak with alcohol and give it a good clean, and you'll be fine. But yeah, I'm really just putting a very, very thin coat of this stuff. Give it another little spray so a drip comes out the end, and then I spread the drip out. Right. There we go. That is more than enough. You just need a thin layer. And I should really wait like 3 minutes, but I don't want to keep you guys waiting. And seeing as iPhones don't have a pause, I don't want to stop the video and then start another one. That's an extra video I have to stick together with all the others that I'm going to have to do. So I may just start doing the cleaning now. No, it's not good. I have to wait. Let me just be patient. I wonder if there's something else I could show you in the meantime. I'm trying to think. Well, there is, but it's why I show you stuff that's totally unrelated, all random. Oh look, here's my multimeter. This is a Fluke. It's just a basic model. It's a 15B plus. Nothing special. You don't need a Fluke for this sort of work. Really, really don't. Just get a decent, or just get a multimeter, a digital multimeter that can do continuity. So, and you know, volts, and I hardly use the amps on this. I think I used amps on this when I was helping my son with a project he was doing. And yeah, you just need a basic multimeter, digital. And it doesn't have to be a Fluke. If I started again, I wouldn't even get a Fluke, if I'm being honest. I don't like this one. If it switches off after 3 minutes, even, check this out, even if you're using it, I mean, how annoying is that? You're in the middle of measuring and it will beep at you to say, I'm going to switch off. I mean, come on. And there's a way of turning that automatic off feature on, but guess what? When you switch the meter off and back on again, it resets back to default. So, and I'm not going to start programming going through the chip and recoding it to suit my needs. No way. I'd rather just get a cheap and cheerful multimeter. No way would I spend money on a Fluke again. Not for me. It's just not. It's not necessary for this type of work at all. I know some people swear by them, but that's to do with the calibration. It's like an industry standard calibration for the big boys. Seriously, for technicians who fix computers, overkill. Overkill. There are plenty of other meters out there that are far better and cheaper, in my opinion. All right, do you know what? Let's have a go at this, because I don't want to sit there talking about multimeters right now. Let's just, there you go. I'm using my fingernail just to get all the glue up. I might have to, I will go over this with alcohol as well afterwards. And what you find is now that I've rubbed it a bit like this and it's starting to come away, I don't know if you can see that, but you probably can't see it. My apologies. If you've got a big screen, you might be able to, but if you're looking at this on a mobile phone, unlikely. So just keep wiping away and do the other side. It's starting to come off. I have worked on Macs before when I've tried to change the battery. The old tape, I'm taking out, let's say someone's had the battery changed before, and when I take it out I can see that whoever did it left the old tape on. You can get away with that, really, as long as you take off the tape that wants to come off, but it doesn't feel right with me. I like to clean it all. Maybe I'm a bit OCD, I don't know. I just like it all off. Yeah, you see, this is good. It's good stuff, the label remover. So it loosens it, and then I'll get in there with the alcohol afterwards, because I don't want it. It smells like a very strong citrus smell, like oranges or something. So, and remember, this is not for electronics. Yeah, this is just for anything like metal chassis and things like that. It's great for getting bad paint stains off as well. Or sometimes I have MacBooks that come in with paint stains on the lid and things like that. Or there's loads of stickers that people don't want on there anymore, and this stuff is brilliant. But that's when you do have to leave it for a good 3 to 5 minutes to dry, and then you can kind of peel it up from there. But I always clean it with alcohol afterwards, just to get rid of the smell and any of the greasy residue from the label remover. So pretty much getting there now. There we go. Okay, cool. Right, that's that. I'm just going to give it a wipe with some alcohol as well now. There we go. Okay, let's give it a little bit of a blow just to make sure it dries out. That. Right, where's the other battery? There we go. So yeah, so the battery goes this way like that, and it kind of tucks under the speakers, so you can see that side goes slightly under the speaker there, see, and the same for the other side, goes under the speaker there, so it's a nice fit. Just got to make sure you don't drop it down until you're happy it's all lined up, otherwise, you know, you're gonna have problems. And don't take the top plastic off until you've stuck it down. So you take the bottom plastic off first, and that reveals the sticky pads underneath. And these are the pads that I was saying, sometimes they're not very good and I have to use double-sided tape, but I always give them a go first, and if they don't work I can always open it up and add the tape afterwards. So I like to get the I have to get the speakers slightly under first, and I'm trying not to let the pads stick until I've got it all lined up how I want it, right? Okay, so speaker bits are important, and this bit here is super important. In fact, right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I plug the battery in, all right, whilst I'm lining up. Let me just focus, get that in. That one's touched down in the wrong place. This is what I mean, see? There we go, that's it. That's why you leave this on as well, the plastic layer on top. It helps stop the cells from spreading out, so you can get it all in the correct place. Right, this is good. All right, I've got to remember it's plugged in. Okay, so I only plugged it in so I can make sure when I put the cells in it's lining up with the cable. The last thing you want is to have to move the cable to the left because the battery hasn't glued down in quite the right position, right? So okay, and again, now it's lined up, I'm going to just take the battery connector off, okay, because I've still got to put the trackpad cable on. And don't do the mistake I've done before. I put the trackpad cable on and forgot to take the top plastic off, right? So you need to peel, once you've got the cells down, push down as you're peeling, because this is quite, it could pull the battery back up otherwise while it's trying to set. So just push down a little bit on the battery while you're peeling, like that. Come on. There we go. Right. Okay, that's that. So I'm going to get these screws back in. Let me see if there was another screw here. Remember I took one out? No. So that screw that I took out earlier was for the PCB board that belongs to the battery. So it has, this new one has its own screw. So I won't be needing that screw. So I'm just going to need the other screw that goes in the side here to hold the battery down in place, right? So let's get that in. Okay, that's in. And it could take a while for the glue to set properly, so you can put a weight on it before you put the lid on, like something heavy, you know, not too heavy, but something heavy enough just to hold it in place. But if I'm being honest, once you do get the lid on, it pushes down on the battery anyway, so it will help secure it, right? So I'm not too concerned about that. So now I can get the trackpad cable put back on. Again, the battery's still not plugged in yet, not while I'm doing all this. I get the shield back on to cover the trackpad cable and pop the screws back in. Yeah, I remember when I first started looking at videos on how to do this, there were so many different methods. It was absolutely insane, and none of them I was happy with. So I'm really happy with the way I take these batteries out now. Quite quick and efficient, and all the cleaning solutions I use I'm very happy with. So not happy if I get a duff battery, because after all this I have to do it again. Right, so we're all good. I just need to plug the battery in. and I will need to add power to it again. So tip, when you store lithium ion batteries, it's a good idea to keep them stored at between 50 to 80% charged. It keeps it can stop the battery lock from kicking in, because if it drops too low on a lithium ion cell, it will think that there's a problem with the cells and it will lock the battery out and you won't be able to charge it. And there are ways around that, but you need specialized equipment, which I think I have got actually, but for the unlocking you have to pay an extra fee, and yeah, I've never really needed that. So here we go, it's powering up. Make sure, I'm going to zoom out a bit so you can see a bit more of what's going on. That's just to adjust that. There we go. All right, so it's powering on. So in this first part of the video, when I was trying to do the PRAM reset, and then I told you I couldn't because it had a firmware password on it. But at first I said to you I thought it might have been locked out within the firmware, because you can use anyway, I mentioned a utility and I couldn't remember the name. I googled it and it refreshed my memory. It's called the CSR utility, and you can go in and disable something called system integrity protection. So that will kind of stop you using boot keys and things like that as well, actually. So if those sort of things are enabled. But I didn't have to do that. The problem was it had a firmware password, which I've now removed, right? So this is it. And you can see it's on. Right. I don't really want to show you. There's nothing I'm going to show you here anyway. I'm going to keep everything minimized. I just want to show you the battery status and also see it for myself, of course. Right, it says condition normal, which is great. And then I'm going to go to, let me make sure you can see this. You probably can't. Let me drop that back and move that there, possibly zoom in a little bit. Man, there is some serious reflection going on here. Let's try that. I don't know. Let's see if that's better. Right, so forget all this. That's personal stuff anyway. So I'm going to go about this Mac. Okay, let's quit that. Go to System Report. Go to Power. And look at the cycle count. There you go. Cycle count is 1, condition is normal. So looks good on the face of it, okay, but the true test is to fully charge the battery. Okay, once the battery is fully charged, what I'll do is take the charger out and I'll run YouTube until the battery dies. No screensavers enabled and everything, and then recharge the battery again, and that will calibrate the battery. It records where the bottom end of the low end of the battery is and the high end of the battery, and it saves it to the chip that's built into the battery. Remember I was telling you about that chip earlier, the electronics. So this is the old battery, and you've got the electronics here, and you can see there's I believe that's the IC, but I'm not sure. But anyway, it saves the low end value of the battery and the high end into like a memory IC, and it's probably that one because these look like power regulators. So yeah, and that's why I calibrate the battery at least once, so you end up with a cycle count of 2 when you get your laptop back, your MacBook back. So that's pretty much it. So what I'll do is I'll shut down, let the battery fully charge, and of course I'll know that because the MagSafe charger light will change to green. Okay, all right, but I like to shut down because it charges quicker. Once it's fully charged, like I said, I'll run it down on YouTube. So let's see, got to cancel this and quit. Come on, quit. Thank you. Shut down. Oh, come on. Right, so that's shutting down. I'm going to flip it upside down as well and put some weight on the battery while it's calibrating. While it's charging. So kill two birds with one stone, because you know the battery will pop out until it's all settled. Let's just zoom that back out and get this rubber thing back in. There we go. Right, I'm going to just put a bit of weight here on the battery. What have I got that's heavy? Yeah, this is actually quite heavy. This is just like a sellotape holder and it's full of sand. So I'll use that just to hold that in. And at the same time, the battery's going to calibrate. I keep saying calibrate, fully charge. And then all I'm going to do is discharge it with YouTube and recharge it again. And that is it really. I'm sure you don't want to see me put the bottom of the lid on. So thanks for watching, and see you on the next one. Ciao.